because I had a bad back problem, and he recommended Gary because he had worked on his auntie, and she had severe back problems similar to mine, and he strongly recommended Gary, saying Gary can fix it. The problem with my back was from the MRI scan. It said the bottom vertebrae L5 had completely collapsed, and the one above it L4 was on its way out. So I had excruciating pain in the lower back, and it travelled down to the back of the left thigh as well. To be honest, first time when I met Gary, he was a very young man. He's still very young actually. He was only, I think, 17 at the time, and I thought, well, I didn't know what a psychic surgeon was or anything like that whatsoever. It was my first experience, and I thought, nah, this guy, I'm not really holding out too much hope. And he was my last port of call before I was going to have back surgery. And I knew from research that back surgery never fixes the problem. So I was really kind of, I suppose, desperate. And Gary was my last call. And the strangest thing is, like when I met Gary, we had a nice conversation. We didn't talk about the problem or my condition or anything like that. We spoke about everything else but the condition. And then finally, after about half an hour of talk and conversation, I did ask Gary. I said, "Do you know what my problem is?" And he said, "Yeah, he'd heard I had a back problem." And I said, "Let me explain it to him." And then I was just about to explain it, and he said, "There's no need to." He said, "I can see your spine." And he said, "The bottom disc has completely collapsed, and the one above it is the disc above it is worn." And I said, "That's exactly what my MRI scan showed." And I was really, really surprised about that. It kind of really shocked me because I hadn't had that conversation, and there was no way he could have possibly have known. Okay, during the treatment, Gary placed his hands on my back. I was lying on a bed, and placed his hands on my back, and he said that we are going to have a look at your discs to see what the problem is. So I was wondering who the we was initially because I could only see one Gary there. But then, as through my understanding, I know that Gary channels Abraham. And so Gary proceeded to look through the body and placed his hands on my back. I was fully aware, fully conscious. And after a short period of time, about a minute or so, he said, "Look, good news. We don't have to replace the discs. We're going to actually be able to repair them." And I was like kind of very skeptical again because I was thinking, how are you going to replace these discs anyhow? Because I know, like, if you have to do surgery, you've got to cut, and I've got to go under anesthetic and stuff like that. And it was just very bizarre. But he looked through it, and that was Gary's diagnosis at the time, and he said, "Yeah, we're going to replace the discs." And he proceeded to go to work, and before he did it, he had put his hands on my lower back where the pain was, and I asked him, "What is he doing?" And he said, "The surgeon is anesthetizing the area." So I said, "Okay, fine." I didn't feel anything whatsoever. And then after that, he said he's going to start from the top and he's going to start checking the discs to make sure all of them are okay. So he started to press from my neck downwards towards the lower part of the spine. And he said to me, "When you feel the pain, let me know." And so I could feel his hands moving down my spine to the area. And when he got to where I thought the pain should have been, I couldn't feel anything. And I said to him, "You have to press a little bit harder because I'm not feeling anything whatsoever." And friends of mine that were there with me can testify. They said they actually saw Gary's fingers kind of like buckling under the pressure, and he couldn't press no harder. So in my mind, I thought, well, maybe it's the anesthetic. It's kicked in and it's knocked out all the pain sensors. So that's why I'm not feeling, or the pain receptors. That's why I'm not feeling any pain at all. And after a short while, Gary said, "Okay, your disc is back into place." And I thought, okay, sure. And then he told me to stand up. And when I stood up, actually, it was very, very bizarre. About 80% of the pain had completely disappeared. I couldn't believe it. And he said to me, "Adopt the position where you normally feel most of the pain." So I know I had to sit in a chair, and it's called what we call a slump test. We sit in a chair pretty much as I'm doing now, and then I just slump or lean forward. And in that position, you would feel the pain. And I did that and I couldn't feel anything. But what I did feel was at the back of the left leg, some kind of pulling sensation and this tingling sensation. So I explained that to Gary, and Gary said, "Okay, it's not the disc, but what it is actually is the sciatic nerve. It looks like from the injury that I had, it's shrunk and it's become trapped and twisted." So he said, "We're going to reroute the nerve so you never have that problem again." And he said the sensation may last for some time. You're going to get this like piercing type pain sensation down the back of the leg. But he said it's not the nerve. It's just the nerve needs to be stretched, and it's going to give that sensation like as if it's trapped. But it is not trapped whatsoever, and it will be fine so long as you stretch it out. And it took me a little bit of time to comprehend that, but Gary did say stretch it, it will work. And I remember initially thinking in my mind, I'm feeling so much better immediately. It's not even like 1 or 2 days, it was immediate relief of pain. And I thought to myself, look, if Gary's healed me, why do I need to do anything else? I should be 100%. But he said, no, you need to stretch and rework and regrow this nerve so it can start firing again as normal. And if you do that, then you'll be out of pain completely. Oh, listen, yeah. After many years, I've not had this problem with this nerve at all or anything like that whatsoever. The back is completely strong. There's, as Gary did say initially, the nerve will not give me no more problems, and it hasn't given me any more problems. I suppose, touch wood. I'm very, very happy. Very, very happy. I suppose I just don't have the words really to express how happy I am, but I'm very, very grateful to Gary and to Abraham, of course, for kind of like I suppose giving me a new lease of life. For anybody that maybe is skeptical, because I was a complete skeptic and never thought, well, never heard of this type of work or anything like that, and psychic surgery and stuff, and I was a complete uh, 100% skeptic. I would say, listen, you must try it first. Open your mind. It's very, very good. And one thing I like about Gary is he's very honest and very straightforward. If he can do the work, he'll do it. If he says he can't help you, he can't help you. And I find Gary to be like a very pleasant young man, and I actually would trust him with my life.